Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 107 251 It's Back. 107th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Whoosh. A beam of radiant light erupted from Xuanhuan's forehead, sweeping back like a curtain of light. Instantly, the immortal feather ignited, and Luan Sheng Linyu, utterly defenseless, was flung backward. His body transformed into a fireball that plunged into the sea. The entire ocean boiled in turmoil. Li Wei and Jie Shantong exchanged glances, both turning to stare at Xuanhuan. This trumped card. No wonder she had been holding back, unwilling to use it. This object was no longer something of the mortal realm. The light faded from Xuanhuan's forehead, revealing a face as pale as porcelain. Her spirit and qi seemed to have been completely drained in an instant. Li Wei, now it's fair, isn't it? At the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, you have fully supported the Xuanhu sect. To save you. I've exposed the secret I least wanted to reveal. I've given it my all. Her body went limp, sinking toward the seabed. Whoosh. Li Wei flashed forward, catching her in his arms. He checked her breath and neck pulse. Fortunately, she was merely exhausted. On Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain, the elder generation powerhouses of the major powers remained silent for a long time before finally exhaling deeply. Luan Sheng Linyu's strength, mental state, and wisdom were all exceptional, and the forces he controlled were vast beyond measure. Winning against him had been an incredibly difficult feat. Both sides had given everything they had. As the elder generation powerhouses relaxed their minds, they began to think about Luan Sheng Linyu's immortal feather and the shattered lamp within Xuanhuan's third eye spirit realm. That must be an immortal feather left behind by Yu Jia, containing immortal Dao scripture and fragments of ancient immortal power, a treasure beyond compare. If only we could comprehend the immortal Dao scripture inscribed upon it. It would undoubtedly be an immense boon to our cultivation. Someone asked the Confucian-robed elder, that lantern of Hong Ting's. It's no simple thing, is it? Even the immortal feather couldn't block it. The Confucian-robed elder's expression turned grave. He sighed deeply. Since it's already been exposed, there's no point in hiding it. It's a supreme artifact, but it's damaged. The Xuanhu sect has tried countless methods to repair it, but to no avail. The only option left is to entrust it to our Xuanhu sect's young celestial emperor to nurture slowly. Gasps of astonishment rippled through the crowd. A supreme artifact. Even in its damaged state, it still held unparalleled value and formidable power. Keep in mind that the entire Lingxiao realm boasted fewer than 10 supreme artifacts, each with its own name and history. They were the ultimate trump cards of major powers, capable of forcing even transcendents to flee in terror. A supreme artifact represented the pinnacle of spiritual artifact craftsmanship. Among humans, the dragon and phoenix. Among artifacts, the supreme. The Xuanhu sect already possesses a supreme artifact. Now they have another. Truly, destiny favors them, someone remarked, deliberately staring at the second palace master's imperial carriage. The Confucian-robed elder quickly interjected, it's merely a damaged artifact. If it could be repaired, why would we entrust it to a junior? Another person added, this Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival will be remembered for 1,000 years to come. It's simply too extraordinary. A mortal genius with full gold meridian veins, an unparalleled martial mystic cultivator with immortal eyes, the dragon phoenix grandson wielding the immortal feather, and Xuanhu hidden dragon, who commands a supreme artifact, any one of these individuals could have dominated an entire era. Long Dian, Lu Kangsheng, Tang Wancho, Kang Li, and Zhu Yibai are also incredibly strong. Given time, they would undoubtedly become towering peaks among mortal martial mystic cultivators. But they've been overshadowed by those four. At this moment, many finally understood why the Calamity Crossing Temple had set its sights on Xuanhuan and Luan Sheng Linyu. As for who would claim the hidden dragon, the outcome remained uncertain. After all, Li Wei's performance had been quite remarkable. If the Calamity Crossing Temple still favored the major power behind Luan Sheng Linyu, they might resort to a divisive tactic. The younger generation fought to the death like pawns, their roles clear. The true battle lay among the old patriarchs, where the situation was as treacherous as swirling clouds. Their true intentions and the external circumstances were shrouded in mist, making it impossible to distinguish truth from falsehood. The seabed turned azure, radiating brilliant glow, and transformed into a vortex that unleashed a terrifying aura of energy. Swish. Swish. The 12 patrolling immortal envoys immediately rushed over. Splash. Luan Sheng Linyu burst from the water, his azure fire wings now larger, hovering dozens of meters above the ground. The charred black skin on his back split open, the crack rapidly spreading into a dense network of fissures. From these cracks, dazzling glow erupted. His old shell had completely shed. The aura and energy radiating from his new form were as imposing as a towering mountain, giving off an aura of invincibility. Zhe Shantong's eyes narrowed. How formidable. Luan Sheng Linyu has not only reached the peak of Qi cultivation but has also taken a single step across the Dao, instantly entering the Dao seed realm. No wonder he survived that earlier surge of power, he's broken through. Li Wei said, could he have already obtained a dragon seed? That's not impossible, Zhe Shantong admitted. Based on his understanding and cultivation experience in the Dao seed realm, it would take him at least several days to complete the Dao seed planting and initial consolidation without a dragon seed. Luan Sheng Linyu's breakthrough had been far too rapid. The patrolling immortal envoy from the Calamity Crossing Temple who had been following Li Wei spoke up. Breaking through to the Dao seed realm means forfeiting the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. Luan Sheng Linyu, hand over the 3 tickets you possess to the opponent who forced you to break through. Zuoqiu Hongting had regained consciousness but was extremely weak. Li Wei had to envelop her in spiritual qi just to keep her standing. Luan Sheng Linyu's immortal feather was tattered, only the immortal Dao scripture still radiating light. His gaze fell on Zuoqiu Hongting, to be defeated by someone who possesses such a treasure. I have no regrets. He retrieved a stack of invitation cards from his ancestral field and scattered them towards the 3 of them. Unfurling his azure fire wings, he soared towards the Dragon Palace. The 12 patrolling immortal envoys pursued him, fearing he would violate the rules. Li Wei used his spiritual qi to gather the scattered invitation cards. Zhe Shantong tapped his fingers repeatedly, assessing his current condition. Ultimately, he restrained himself, sighing inwardly. He longed to befriend people like Li Wei and Zuoqiu Hongting, but their opposing allegiances destined them to be enemies. Dong. The second temple bell of Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain rang out. Brother Wei, you and your companion were the biggest winners tonight at the Xuanhuan festival. Congratulations. Even if Luan Sheng Linyu had also been conferred the title of Hidden Dragon, I would have accepted it without complaint. Since Luan Sheng Linyu and his young companion have flown toward the Dragon Palace, shall we go take a look? Zhe Shantong suggested. Li Wei felt uneasy. He wanted to secure his gains as soon as possible, to obtain the immortality pill, the dragon seed, and the dragon bone. He nodded, wrapped Zuoqiu Hongting in his cloak, and headed toward the Dragon Palace. Zhe Shantong said, legend says the Dragon Palace was once the dwelling place of the flying dragon. When the Mist Heavenly Emperor fought him, the Calamity Crossing Temple likely stole the flying dragon's treasures and wealth. I suspect all those riches ended up in the temple's coffers. Li Wei gazed at the immortal turtle, as vast as an island, and then at the magnificent palaces adorning its back. He couldn't help but marvel. He decided to ask Zhenhai Guangwu about her connection to the Calamity Crossing Temple and the events of that era. Zuoqiu Hongting said, did you notice? The Calamity Crossing Temple has always favored the far western ashlands, believing Luan Sheng Linyu would win. The dragon seed and dragon bone are far more valuable to him, as he possesses the flying dragon's bloodline. Presenting the Dragon Palace now is more like returning it to its rightful owner, a move to boost his prestige. Zhe Shantong nodded. Too bad for them, we won. Do you feel that extraordinary aura? Li Wei frowned and looked up. Above, a vast, dark cloud surged from the south, rapidly swallowing the clear, bright moon. The night wind intensified. Luan Sheng Linyu, who had flown outside the Dragon Palace, gazed south toward the city-protecting formation's shimmering light veil, which connected heaven and earth several miles away over the sea. He said, I have failed. I have disappointed your expectations. The light veil, layer upon layer, represented the ultimate defense of Chu Prefecture City. Everyone present sensed an extraordinary aura. As they wondered whom Luan Sheng Linyu was addressing, 2 colossal black shadows materialized out of thin air on the opposite side of the light veil. One stood on the sea surface to the left, while the other soared in the midair to the right. The shadow on the sea resembled a lion-tiger from a shadow play. The shadow in the sky had wings that stretched to the eastern and western horizons. Whoosh! As the dark cloud devoured the moon, a bolt of lightning split the heavens and earth. Its brilliant light illuminated the entire Bingju's lake, causing the land of Chu Prefecture to flicker. This lightning revealed the 2 black shadows on the other side of the city-protecting formation's light veil. The Qilin and the Azure Phoenix, as if descended from mythical legends, stood before them. The Qilin, standing on the sea, was so massive that no mountain range could compare. Its body was forged from a myriad of metals, each shimmering with a unique color, radiating unparalleled radiance. The Azure Phoenix was engulfed in flames, its twin wings like clouds that spanned the sky. The lightning vanished, and the Qilin and Azure Phoenix reverted to 2 black shadows, plunging the world into silence. In the next instant, a deafening thunderclap, along with the overwhelming chi of the Qilin and Azure Phoenix, surged forth, sweeping toward Chu Prefecture City like a tidal wave. Boom! The waters of the Bingju's lake rose dozens of meters high, forming massive waves that threatened to crash against the heavens. Long Ting and Li Shentong shot out of the Dragon Palace like lightning. The immortal turtle let out a long cry, and countless strands of immortal Dao scripture erupted from its body, enveloping itself and the Dragon Palace. Then, it soared into the sky like a flying immortal island, heading toward Tally Peach and Plump Mountain for refuge. The sudden change happened in the blink of an eye, in the time it took for a single bolt of thunder and lightning. There was no time to escape. The terrifying chi of the Qilin and Azure Phoenix had already permeated the city-protecting formation, immediately crashing down on the young martial mystic cultivators closest to the source. Nearly all the young martial mystic cultivators were severely injured. The mere pressure of their chi was enough to knock them to the ground, their spirits and wills unable to withstand the force. Even the already wounded Xuanhuan and Zhe Shantong were affected, collapsing backward with their heads thrown back. Splash! Li Wei braced against the wind and waves with all his might, pouring a continuous stream of spiritual chi into his blood handprint demonic armor, barely managing to withstand the onslaught. Yet a terrifying sense of impending doom gripped his heart, as if he were a fragile leaf about to be torn to shreds by the storm. Whoosh! In the distance, a colossal palm pressed against the shimmering curtain of light that formed Chu Prefecture City's city-protecting formation, causing it to warp and buckle under the immense pressure. The palm was reaching for the immortal turtle, which was fleeing toward Tally Peach and Plump Mountain. Even before the palm could breach the light curtain, it had already locked onto the immortal turtle in midair. It was as if space had frozen and time had stopped, the palm's might unparalleled. Li Wei gritted his teeth, his gaze following the movement of the colossal palm across the sky. He knew that once the city-protecting formation shattered, his own scalp might explode along with it. Just then, Zhenhai Guanwu's voice reached his ears, "It's back. Fortunately, it hasn't yet reached the level of a martial Dao Emperor. I hope they can hold it off this time." Blank. End of chapter. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 108 252 Qilin Zhuang. 108th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Zhenhai Guanwu had said that around 2,800 years ago, she slew a flying dragon in the East Sea. However, she failed to find the son of the flying dragon, Qilin, and thus failed to eradicate the threat completely. In other words, Qilin had lived for at least 2,800 years. At the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, the various Demon King factions had defected and pledged allegiance to Luansheng Linyu not because he had subdued them. Instead, the Demon Kings behind them, who resided in the Lingxiao realm, had already been secretly won over by Qilin. It had returned long ago. The older generation of Tally Peach and Plump Mountain had already suspected this. But no one had anticipated that Qilin would dare to appear in Chu Prefecture City and display such arrogance, attacking the city-protecting formation. How dare you? Qilin Zhuang, are you declaring war on the Calamity Crossing Temple? The Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master's brow flashed with spiritual light as he formed a hand seal. Instantly, the dispel rune that had covered Chu Prefecture City rapidly contracted and condensed, pressing down from above the city-protecting formation toward Qilin and Azure Phoenix on the Bingju's Lake. Zhuang, that was the name of the son of the flying dragon. On the Bingju's Lake. Qilin Zhuang appeared in human form, standing proudly atop the nearly solidified Qilin shadow. He wore dragon armor, his figure tall and imposing. Behind him, several other powerful and mysterious figures stood in the sea. He gazed toward the ninth heaven of Tally Peach and Plump Mountain, completely ignoring the descending dispel rune. With the Calamity Crossing Temple's support, the Demon Kingdom could be established by tomorrow's sunrise. Tonight, we could eliminate all transcendent opposition, enslave immortals, and herd all martial mystic cultivators as livestock. Without the Calamity Crossing Temple's support, establishing the Demon Kingdom is still inevitable, just slightly more troublesome. Whoosh! The dispel rune tore through the black clouds, shattered the sky, and descended with overwhelming talismanic runes. Above Qilin and Azure Phoenix, space trembled violently. Light from the phoenix nest illuminated the four directions, and colorful clouds filled the Bingju's Lake, supporting the dispel rune. Then, crimson gold flames erupted from the nest, igniting the void and burning the dispel rune into wisps of blue smoke. The Azure Phoenix, Qingluan, controlled the phoenix nest. Qilin Zhuang's voice boomed across the battlefield. A mere Zuaoqiu, a nobody 3,000 years ago, not even of imperial blood, what right does he have to become the future master of this land? The Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival is just a children's game. Surely you Calamity Crossing Temple immortals don't take it seriously. Only I can unify the realm swiftly, end the chaos, and establish a vaster, more prosperous nation. The Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master replied, a loss is a loss. The rules cannot be changed, and you were given your chance. It is all heaven's will, and following heaven's will is the founding principle of the Calamity Crossing Temple. Whoosh! The Immortal Master's figure, shrouded in talisman light and mist, appeared above the sea near the bright moon 7 stars pavilion. He swung his staff, colliding remotely with the massive hand that sought to shatter the city-protecting formation's protective barrier. The immortal turtle, suspended in midair, escaped Qilin Zhuang's lock and regained its ability to fly, fleeing frantically. Calamity Crossing Temple will pay dearly for its mistakes today. Tonight, we'll crush the Zhuoqiu clan and then destroy Lingxiao Palace. Only then will you understand how laughable your so-called heaven's will truly is. My will is heaven's will. The giant hand in the sky suddenly erupted with auspicious divine light, shaking the earth and turning the sea upside down. Boom. The plains surrounding Chu Prefecture City shattered into countless cracks under the impact. The city protecting formation's protective light screen couldn't withstand the blow and was pierced through. The tearing sound was deafening, instantly piercing the eardrums of countless citizens in South City. Fortunately, the dispel rune had already vanished. Formation scriptures were rising from every street and building within the city, resisting the destructive force. PFF'd. The island-sized immortal turtle let out a mournful cry as its body exploded into a rain of blood. Enraged, the Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master unleashed a formation plate from his third eye spirit realm. It expanded rapidly, its myriad formation scriptures converging into a single strike that annihilated the giant hand. Qilin Zhuang and Azure Phoenix, in their human forms, entered the light screen through the breach. Behind them loomed the massive shadows of a Qilin and an Azure Phoenix, followed by countless demon shadows and banners that blotted out the sky. Qilin Zhuang advanced toward the Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master, while Azure Phoenix prepared to seize the Dragon Palace. Qilin Zhuang, the Zhuoqiu clan rose to become one of Lingxiao's 4 great clans within 3,000 years. Do you truly believe you're the only one who underestimates us, seeking to suppress us? But the Zhuoqiu clan grows stronger every day. The morning sun will rise, transforming into a blazing midday sun, unstoppable in its ascent. As the Confucian ancestor of the Zhuoqiu clan, the robed elder, ordered the activation of all formation, a page from an ancient book flew out from his third eye spirit realm. This page appeared to have been torn from somewhere, the tear lines jagged and irregular. Yet, as the single page of paper flew out, it transformed into a sea of mysterious characters, surging toward the breach in the city protecting formation's light barrier. Destroy the Lingxiao Palace. Such arrogance. When the Mist Heavenly Emperor was still around, you didn't even dare return to the Lingxiao realm, did you? The second Palace Master's imperial carriage had already burst forth from Taoli Peach and Plump Mountain. Its wheels rumbled, crushing the void, and its chi spread throughout Chu Prefecture City, colliding violently with Azure Phoenix. The suspended Dragon Palace, struck by the clash of these two terrifying forces, shook violently, overturning and spinning. Whoosh! The immortality pills, dragon seeds, and dragon bones stored in the Dragon Palace by the Calamity Crossing Temple, encased in crystalline, ice-like solids and shimmering with light, all tumbled out into the air. Under the impact of the second Palace Masters and Azure Phoenix's spiritual chi, they rained down upon the entire city like a meteor shower. Zhuoqiu Ling, Hidden Lord, and other Immortal Realm giants from the major powers charged in the opposite direction of the meteor shower, heading towards Bingju's lake to rescue the young heavenly prides trapped near the battlefield. In the chaos, they seized the opportunity to act, each employing their own methods to collect some of the immortality pills, dragon seeds, and dragon bones. The majority of the immortality pills, dragon seeds, and dragon bones, however, scattered across the city, sparking a frenzy of looting. At the moment the second Palace Master and Azure Phoenix clashed, Li Wei could no longer hold on. His vision darkened, and his consciousness blurred. He vaguely saw the Dragon Palace collapsing, bright orbs scattering like a meteor shower. More than a dozen of these orbs plummeted diagonally towards him, landing not far away. The Tao Ancestor's Tai Chi fish, worn around his neck beneath the blood handprint demon armor, stirred. Within the Buddha's relic, Zhenhai Guanwu unleashed a surge of power, injecting it into the blood handprint demon armor. Immediately, a torrent of blood mist erupted from the armor, enveloping the dozen or so orbs and pulling them back. At this moment, Li Wei had completely lost consciousness and was plummeting toward the seabed. Whoosh! Hidden Lord arrived in the water like a streak of light, embraced him, and then shot back toward Chu Prefecture City at lightning speed. As for Kang Li, Yin Zhu, Li Ling, and Yin Shiyi, other experts had already gone to rescue them. The time window was incredibly narrow. Even an Immortal Realm giant could only save one person at a time, or risk falling themselves. Li Wei gasped sharply and sat up on the bed, his head throbbing. His limbs were weak, and his wounds burned. He had already been severely injured during his fight with Luansheng Linyu. Later, the residual energy from the transcendent attack had struck him even from over 10 miles away, and not even his blood handprint demon armor could fully protect him. Kang Li and Yin Zhu lay nearby. They were in far worse condition. Their skin was as white as corpses, and their breaths were shallow. Two elders of unknown origin were feeding them a potion brewed from millennial essence herbs and constantly infusing spiritual chi into their bodies, giving their all to save them. Li Wei heard a faint sob and turned to look. Yaoyan sat beside the bed, her eyes fixed on him, her tear-streaked face pale. Her small hands still clutched his right hand tightly. What's wrong? Li Wei asked. Yaoyan burst into tears, her voice choked with sobs. I thought you were like them. That you wouldn't make it. What nonsense are you talking about? Those two aren't dead yet. Yin or Shi, pacing back and forth in the room, snapped at Yaoyan. Seeing Li Wei sitting up, she visibly relaxed. Yaoyan whispered, when they were first brought back, they had no breath. I thought you were the same. The little girl was clearly terrified. Li Wei gently patted her hand to comfort her. The room was vast, like an empty hall. Yin Shiyi and Li Ling were also present, though their injuries were less severe. Yin Shiyi had been pursuing the great spiritual masters and hadn't entered the Bingju's lake, remaining at a distance. Li Ling had retreated earlier, her right leg fractured and her spiritual power depleted. Outside the window, flashes of light flickered incessantly, tree branches swayed violently, and thunderous roars echoed from all directions. Boom. The room shook violently, causing the beams and pillars to creak. Li Wei recalled the events that had transpired, inwardly shuddering at the near-death experience. He then asked, where is this place? How long have I been unconscious? About 15 minutes, Yin Shi replied, standing by the window and gazing into the distance. But the horizon was shrouded in chaos, making it impossible to see the transcendent figures. Only terrifying auras could be sensed, as if gods were battling. Only 15 minutes. It felt like I'd been asleep for days, Li Wei groaned, slamming his forehead. The pain returned with renewed intensity. Yaoyan rose and began massaging his temples. Hidden Lord said Chu Prefecture City will be chaotic tonight, and Clumsy Garden might not be safe. So he brought us all to Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain. Li Wei noticed that his insect pouch was destroyed, his expression changing instantly. Damn it. Where are the little seven? And my sword? Have you seen it? Yaoyan shook her head. The Hidden Lord brought you back then. I didn't see the seven little ones or the yellow dragon sword. Li Wei's gaze darkened sharply, and he reached for his chest. Fortunately, the Dao ancestor Tai Chi fish was still there. Li Ling sat beside Kang Li, her eyes red and swollen. In that situation, it's a miracle we survived. Senior, my brother. Is there any hope for my brother? The elder who had treated Kang Li was as gaunt as firewood, with a hideous scar across his face and sunken eye sockets. If they had met in another place, his appearance alone would have been enough to frighten anyone. The scarred elder chuckled in a hoarse voice. Rest assured, he's been saved. The elder who had treated Yinju was an aberrant humanoid, bearing features of various ancient immortal giant beasts. His head was that of a tiger, his arms like a monkey's, and he had a long tail and a hunched posture. He said, this one-armed brat has been saved too. He's got a tough life. Li Ling stood up on her one leg, leaning on her crutch, and bowed deeply. Thank you, seniors. Yin Shiyi also bowed respectfully. May I ask if you are elders of the Zuoqiu clan? How should I address you? I will never forget your life-saving grace. It was these two elders who had rescued Yinju, Kang Li, Yin Shiyi, and Li Ling earlier. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 109 253 The Gathering of the Transcendent. 109th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The scarred elder chuckled. It seems have been gone too long. The sect disciples treat us like outsiders. Yin Shiyi was my name once, but that was ages ago. Just call me Elder Qin now. The tiger-headed elder sighed deeply. Call me Elder Zhou. The current Hidden Lord has been singing your praises, boasting about your stunning performance at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival and claiming that without our protection, rival forces would eliminate you. Well, it certainly piqued our curiosity and lured us into the eye of this storm of trouble. What a scam. The Julie Hidden Sect selects 60 Hidden Ones and one Hidden Lord every 60 years. Each cycle of 60 years marks a new generation. The current Divine Hidden One is naturally Li Wei. The newest Hidden One is Yin 26, Yaoyan. 34 years from now, when Hidden 60 is chosen, the next cycle will begin. At that time, Li Wei will transition from Divine Hidden One to the current Hidden Lord. The current Hidden Lord is responsible for all internal and external affairs of the Hidden Sect. They can mobilize all Hidden Ones and resources, and they are also responsible for selecting and training the next generation of Divine Hidden Ones. In theory, even the ancient Hidden Ones were subject to the Hidden Lord's command during this special period. Elder Qin and Elder Zhou were summoned by the current Hidden Lord using the Hidden Ancestor token to protect Li Wei. Upon learning they were seniors from the Hidden Sect, Yin Shiyi immediately puffed up with pride. So, how did we perform? Just passable, Elder Qin replied, exchanging a glance with Elder Zhou before they both clasped their fists in respect. Although the Hidden Ones hadn't yet matured, they were considered equals to the ancient Hidden Ones. This was because the Julie Hidden Sect's requirement for Hidden Ones was to cultivate leadership qualities. Only by granting them sufficient status could they foster such qualities. Li Wei returned their salute and asked, "Where's the hidden lord?" Elder Zhou replied, "He went into the city to snatch immortality pills, dragon seeds, and dragon bones, all for you young ones to claim. Originally, your invitations and receipts would have earned you a good haul, but now the old geezers have to do the work themselves. Don't talk nonsense. The hidden lord went to help the Xuanhuan clan maintain order in the city. Since their injuries have stabilized, we should go assist them. The Xuanhuan clan will be short-handed tonight, with so many people fighting over resources and chaos running rampant." Elder Qin pulled Elder Zhou along, and they hurried down the mountain. Li Wei asked, "Li Ling, is your brother your parents' biological child?" Li Ling froze, unsure why he'd suddenly ask such a question. But it was a truly unkind thing to say. She snorted coldly at Li Wei. Li Wei secretly admired the hidden lord, who always knew the right thing to do at any given moment. Although Kang Li was critically wounded and on the verge of death, the hidden lord's presence seemed unlikely to help. In fact, it might have delayed the optimal time to seize the immortality pills, dragon seed, and dragon bone. Memories flooded his mind. The dragon palace had overturned, and treasures of all kinds rained down like shooting stars across the city. Li Wei slapped his thigh hard, filled with hatred for the two demon clan experts who had suddenly appeared. He could have exchanged for many treasures, laying a solid foundation for the Dao Seed realm. Now, after half a month of risking his life, he had gained nothing. He could only hope the hidden lord's efforts would yield results. After all, immortality pills were difficult to refine, and the Calamity Crossing Temple might not be able to produce another 20 immediately. The dragon seed and dragon bone were even more precious. Once lost, they could never be recovered. Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain, the safest place in Chu Prefecture City, was shrouded in numerous formations and talismanic runes. In the third heaven, there was a concentrated area of buildings and cultivation cave dwellings where almost all the talented disciples of the Xuanhuan clan's direct lineage resided. After a moment of rest, Li Wei managed to temporarily suppress his injuries. Ignoring the protests of Yin'er Shixi and Yaoyan, he stepped out of the hall and followed a 10-foot-wide stone staircase path southward. He was intensely curious about the upcoming duel between the transcendent and immortal, his blood seemingly ignited with a feverish excitement. This duel represented the future direction of his martial mystic path, the pinnacle he must strive to reach. Just how powerful could the world's strongest truly become? Could they truly split the heavens and earth and become all-powerful, as the myths claimed? In the third heaven, houses and halls were built along the cliffs, with ancient, towering peach trees growing everywhere. The trees were laden with ripe peaches, which drifted down like snowflakes. Yin'er Shixi and Yaoyan flanked him, supporting him on either side. Reaching the cliff edge near the south city, Li Wei channeled his spiritual power into his eyes and gazed into the distance. Beyond the protective formation's shimmering light, massive demon shadows occasionally flew past, radiating a formidable aura. Below, the outer city of South City lay in ruins. Every building had collapsed, the earth was torn asunder, and seawater surged inward. Countless residents lay dead amidst the wreckage. Yet the inner city remained unscathed, its 8 trigrams formation as solid as a fortress. Whoosh! Whoosh! From the 8 small Dao domains within the inner city's 8 districts, 8 pillars of light rose, merging with the pillar of light emanating from Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain. Instantly, formation scriptures began to emerge from beneath the entire city, enveloping Chu Prefecture City in a sea of formation scripture light. Li Wei asked, "They didn't break into the city?" "I remember the city protecting formation's light veil seemed to have been torn open, and a terrifying figure entered." A deep, resonant voice replied from behind him, "If Chu Prefecture City were so easily breached, they could sweep through the entire Lingxiao realm." Li Wei turned around, surprise flashing in his eyes. He quickly bowed. "Greetings, clan head." Xuanhuan Ling, the Lingxiao first commander, was also the clan head of the Xuanhuan clan. Of course, clan heads like him, much like the hidden lord of the Zhu Li hidden sect, were only responsible for mortal affairs. Matters beyond the immortal realm were beyond their capabilities. The consensus in the martial mystic Dao world was that the Dao Seed realm represented the pinnacle of mortal strength, while the immortal realm transcended the realm of mortals, becoming beings who contended with heaven and earth for immortality. Before the decade-long war erupted, immortal realm cultivators rarely intervened in mortal affairs, focusing solely on cultivation and extending their lifespans. Xuanhuan Ling, over 2 meters tall, was a towering and handsome figure clad in armor, perpetually prepared for battle. Despite his reputation as an unparalleled powerhouse, sitting like a divine mountain, sleeping like a dark dragon, moving like the sun and moon, he lacked the aloofness of legend, his gaze surprisingly gentle. He continued, "It's not that simple. The main cities and strategic strongholds of the ancient myriad sects have been fortified for thousands of years. Even the martial mystic path emperor would struggle to breach them quickly. If they were so easily penetrated, the second palace master would have long ago led the imperial court's transcendent cultivators to systematically destroy the righteous army's mountain gates. Li Weiyi's tense, worried heart eased slightly. How is Zuoqiu Hong? She's out of danger, but hasn't yet regained consciousness, Zuoqiu Ling replied. Boom. Within the inner city's domain below, a dead ember with formidable hidden cultivation surged toward a Dao domain in South City, intent on destroying the formation pillar rising from it. His body burned, then exploded into pieces. Sparks flew outward, transforming into a rain of fire that enveloped the city for several miles. But it didn't create an ashen region. The city-protecting formation dispelled the destructive energy. From within the Dao domain, countless talismanic runes surged out, completely blocking the destructive energy. Zuoqiu Ling snorted coldly. I knew they'd planted people in the city in advance, trying to break the formation from within. It's not that easy. In the inner city, Demon Clan and Ember Spirit experts emerged one after another, all targeting the Dao domain formation cores in the 8 major districts. The city was filled with masters from various major powers, who quickly killed them all. Woof. Woof. From the depths of the void came a series of dog barks, like thunder echoing across 1,000 miles. A colossal old dog, as tall as a mountain, strode across the plains. Its body was emaciated, its teeth sharp, and it exhaled a gray mist. Its patchy fur was severely matted and shedding, the remaining long hairs a dull crimson. Wherever its paws trod, vegetation withered, and a miasma of death transformed into blood-filled craters. It deliberately advanced through areas densely populated by humans. Wherever it passed, it either used a demonic wind to swallow the entire population of a large town or simply released a deadly aura that killed countless civilians. Upon reaching the Bingju's Lake battlefield, the old dog attacked a transcendent advancing from the northern territory. Zuoqiu Ling recognized the old dog's origins, his face turning grim. It's the Quanrong ancestor, the Rong raider from the western territory. That old scoundrel is still alive. The 4 extremes ape king appeared on the horizon. Like the heartless golden ape, it had 4 arms and sharp, sword-like teeth. A demon cloud hundreds of miles wide swirled above its head. Its massive head was topped by a 5-colored mountain where the 5 elements converged. In its hand, it wielded a flaming war spear hundreds of meters long and as thick as a millstone, weighing tens of thousands of kilograms. Entering the Bingju's Lake, it ran along the seabed, charging towards the second palace master's imperial carriage. One after another, transcendent beings from the far western ashlands arrived, their combined might unprecedented. It was clear they intended to utterly destroy the Zuoqiu clan. The imperial court and the righteous army's senior elders couldn't remain uninvolved, as Qilin Zhuang planned to use this opportunity to eliminate them as well. 2 silver beams of light illuminated the night sky. A member of the demon clan soared arrogantly over Chu Prefecture City. Li Weiyi looked up, his breath catching in his throat, his heart momentarily ceasing to beat. It was an eagle, its wings spanning the northern and southern cities, radiating an aura of primordial chaos. Its silver feathers sliced through the formation light veil above Chu Prefecture City, targeting the weakest point in its defenses. A silver feather pierced through, showering the city in silver light that trailed southward like a celestial blade cleaving the heavens and earth, a display of absolute dominance. The formation remained unbroken. The city's protective light veil consisted of multiple layers, and it could repair itself as the heavenly law earth spring continuously released spiritual qi. It's the silver feather eagle king from the 8,000 Li Yin mountain in the northern territory. 2 of the 4 great demon kings from the Lingxiao realm have already appeared. Zuoqiu Ling's mood darkened. His earlier confidence evaporated, replaced by fear that the remaining 2 demon kings might also show up. Qilin Zhuang's aggressive advance, backed by the combined might of the transcendent powers, posed a grave threat. If they failed to crush the Zuoqiu clan, this first battle upon their return would be a disastrous blow to morale. The Quanrong ancestor wasn't among the 4 great demon kings. The 4 great demon kings, claiming to be the true heirs of the demon clan, studied human laws, culture, and techniques. They maintained relatively amicable relations with human martial mystic cultivators, allowing them to occupy vast territories across the 8 prefectures. The Quanrong ancestor, on the other hand, was a malevolent demon who roamed between the Nether Realm and the living realm. He could only support human Rong raiders as his subordinate forces, lacking his own demon clan territory. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 110-254 The 8 Trigrams Mirror of the Emperor Shi. 110th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Zuoqiu Ling gazed up at the 9th heaven above Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain. Even the hardened heart of an immortal couldn't conceal the emotions and worry in his eyes. He lowered his gaze and suddenly asked, Wei Yi, do you think the situation in the world will unfold like it did at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival? Or perhaps even worse? Clearly, Zhuoqiu Ling felt that the events of this night mirrored the New Year's Eve at the beginning of the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. The Zhuoqiu sect faced an incredibly difficult challenge. If they could endure, they would usher in a new era in the Lingxiao realm. If they failed, it could mean the destruction of their clan and the death of their people. Li Wei, facing the clan head of one of the ancient myriad sects, dared not speak carelessly. After careful consideration, he offered his perspective. This night is similar to New Year's Eve, but there are crucial differences. When the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival began, the far western Ashlands concealed their true strength, keeping their hidden power secret. They had always been located west of the Lingxiao realm, and for thousands of years, they had shown no ambition. As a result, everyone believed that the Zhuoqiu sect, supported by the Calamity Crossing Temple, was the greatest threat and had to be eliminated first. Tonight is different. The demon race is advancing aggressively, and Qilin Zhuang is brazenly declaring that they won't stop until the human race is annihilated. Even if the imperial court still intends to use the demon race to destroy the Zhuoqiu sect, they must protect it for now. Otherwise, if the southern territory falls, Lingxiao City will be next. The major powers of the northern, eastern, and western territories won't stand idly by this time like they did on New Year's Eve. If they lose the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, they can escape from the city. But if they lose the war for the world, there's nowhere to run. Their descendants will become slaves and livestock. Yin'er Shixi and Yaoyan were utterly awestruck by Li Wei. It wasn't just because of what he said, but because he could speak so calmly and naturally with such a prominent figure as the Lingxiao first commander, without appearing arrogant or conceited. Both women were incredibly nervous. It wasn't out of fear, but because of the overwhelming aura emanating from Zhuoqiu Ling. Zhuoqiu Ling said, Qilin Zhuang's cultivation has reached unimaginable heights. The formations of Chu Prefecture City can only temporarily repel it, not harm it in the slightest. Even the Calamity Crossing Temple Immortal Master can barely hold it at bay. The transcendents who rushed from the western territory were devoured by it in a single gulp. No one in the entire Lingxiao realm can match its power. It wouldn't dare to launch such a reckless attack without absolute confidence. Li Wei knew Zhuoqiu Ling was testing him. A figure capable of leading a sect could hardly fail to see the predicament behind Qilin Zhuang's actions. Li Wei said, I believe Qilin Zhuang isn't entirely confident. It's simply a matter of having already drawn its bow and being forced to release the arrow. At the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, with Luan Sheng Lin Yu's strength, trump cards, and affiliated forces, victory seemed all but assured. Had Luan Sheng Lin Yu been crowned Hidden Dragon, Qilin Zhuang could have revealed itself in the wake of the ceremony. The combined might of their forces would have been overwhelming, and countless powers would have flocked to its banner that very night. The failure of the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival was clearly the outcome Qilin Zhuang least desired. But Heavenly Cliff Ridge, Yin Mountain, Coffin Mountain, Dragon Sect. All these powers have already declared their allegiance. If Qilin Zhuang doesn't strike tonight, if it doesn't display its utmost resolve, how can it justify its actions to these allies? Heavenly Cliff Ridge lies right under the nose of the Zhuoqiu sect. Yin Mountain will be uprooted by the Snow Sword Tang Court. Dragon Sect will face immediate retribution from the Imperial Court's armies, and the world will cheer its downfall. In this battle, Qilin Zhuang's unwavering resolve and air of invincibility are likely more about reassuring his allies and solidifying their loyalty, Zhuoqiu Ling observed, his eyes lighting up. He nodded lightly. Without the support of the Calamity Crossing Temple, overlords like the Four Extremes Ape King and the Silver Feather Eagle King must be wavering. They might very well switch sides. It's here. The supreme artifact has finally absorbed enough spiritual qi. As Li Wei was still pondering this, a terrifying aura erupted from the unknown space above the ninth heaven of Taolik Peach and Plump Mountain. Countless martial mystic cultivators within the city were struck with terror, collapsing to the ground in a heap. Whoosh! A blinding radiance, like a scorching sun, pierced the darkness, transforming the entire Chu prefecture into daylight. The Emperor Zai's 8 trigrams mirror, the supreme artifact of the Zhuoqiu sect, having absorbed sufficient spiritual qi from the heaven law earth spring, soared out of Taolik Peach and Plump Mountain, its supreme power surging forth. The clouds in the sky roiled and churned. The 8 trigrams mirror manifested as a blazing sun and a radiant moon, creating the extraordinary spectacle of both celestial bodies hanging in the sky simultaneously. Sensing the aura of destruction, the Silver Feather Eagle King abandoned his earlier arrogance and fled with all his might, soaring over 100 miles with a single flap of his wings. But the Emperor Zai's 8 trigrams mirror caught up, and after a brief struggle, his demonic body exploded into a cloud of blood mist, turning the southern sky completely crimson. Boom! The shattered corpse of the Demon King crashed to the ground, transforming a 100-mile radius into a blood-red demon soil plain. It was truly a night of blood, with another transcendence falling. The Lingxiao realm's landscape was destined to undergo a massive upheaval this night. Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain, a peak of the Ancestral Realm, boasted one of the Southern Territory's most potent heaven-law-earth springs, capable of unleashing the full power of supreme artifacts. Thus, within their own headquarters, the ancient myriad sects could achieve near invincibility simply by activating their supreme artifacts. From the unknown space atop the mountain emerged the Xuanhuan sect's second transcendent, his physique even more robust than Xuanhuan Ling's. Each step he took caused the void to tremble, sending ripples of energy radiating outward. He was the one wielding the Emperor Zai's 8 trigrams mirror. The Xuanhuan sect actually has a second transcendent. No wonder the Calamity Crossing Temple chose them. Who is this person? His aura is terrifyingly powerful, seemingly on par with the second palace master. The second transcendent of the Xuanhuan sect, wielding the Emperor Zai's 8 trigrams mirror, charged out of Chu Prefecture City and directly attacked Xuanhuan. Boom. With a single strike, several hundred-meter-wide fissures appeared across the land, stretching to the horizon. Xuanhuan had come prepared. He had already activated his supreme artifact, which transformed into a silver moon that rose to meet the Emperor Zai's 8 trigrams mirror. In an instant, countless scriptures erupted, causing the vast plains to collapse into a basin. The transcendent duel escalated further. The very landscape of Chu Prefecture was violently altered by the battle. Human transcendent figures rushed to the scene, while transcendent figures from the far western ashlands also emerged. Spiritual artifacts clashed in the sky, and Dao techniques either burned the heavens or boiled the seas. The battle raged for an entire night. As dawn approached, the tremors of the fight gradually faded. Fighting near Chu Prefecture City, the Emperor Zai's 8 trigrams mirror could continuously absorb spiritual qi from the heaven-law-earth spring, unleashing its full power. Simultaneously, the city's protective formation unleashed a constant barrage of attacks, completely suppressing the demon race. Only by retreating could the human race's transcendent advantage be dismantled and the upper hand regained. The martial mystic cultivators in the city endured a night of trembling agony, finally breathing a sigh of relief. The apocalyptic aura had been too terrifying. In the third heaven, Xuanhuan Ling showed no joy at repelling the demon race. Instead, his expression was grave, and he let out a long sigh. The devastation this battle had wrought on Chu Prefecture was unimaginable. Countless civilians outside the city had perished, and the city itself had suffered severe damage. As the morning sun rose, Xuanhuan Ling received an urgent message from the Western Territory. His face changed dramatically. Faint south, strike west. Could it be that the pre-enactment at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival was truly unavoidable? The message reported that the Zhu sect had been attacked by the demon race last night. The Shanshan Weiwo mountain monarch of calamity, leader of the 4 great demon kings, ancestor K. Rong, and the Ziluan purple phoenix, one of the 5 Luans from the far western ashlands, had all appeared, wielding supreme artifacts. The outcome of the battle was still unknown. In the current situation, as a junior, all Li Wei could do was leave it to fate. Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain was already the safest place. Outside the city, transcendents clashed in battle, and countless civilians died under mysterious circumstances. Xuanhuan Ling, in the third heaven, arranged a secluded cave dwelling for Li Wei to cultivate in. He also ordered the delivery of a medicinal broth brewed from Millennium Essence herbs to aid in his recovery. The cave dwelling was built on a cliffside, with an ancient peach tree guarding its entrance. Patriarch Xuanhuan is so approachable, Li Wei remarked. He lacks the aloof arrogance one might expect from the undefeated martial mystic cultivator of his generation. As an immortal realm cultivator, he treats even a junior like me with such courtesy. Master Spirit Tablet, the Xuanhuan sect's cultivation and moral teachings truly deserve praise. After activating the cave dwelling's formation, Li Wei finally dared to communicate with the others in the blood mud space. He then used his spiritual light flame to activate the Dao Ancestor's Tai Chi fish and entered it. The moment he stepped into the blood mud space, he saw the 7 little ones sprawled across his medicinal field, wreaking havoc on his immortal soil. He felt a mix of anger and amusement. Eat all you want, he muttered, you'll finish it all eventually. Li Wei quickly gathered 10 caddies of immortal soil, intending to use it to shape his immortal body. Then, he noticed the yellow dragon sword and Jing Yu sword planted in the ground. His lost warriors had been recovered, and the gloom in his heart vanished instantly. Zhenhai Guanwu sat on the edge of the jade boat, her red robes vibrant against her skin, which was as white as mud and fat jade. She hadn't cultivated, and her expression was heavy with worry. Li Wei didn't need to guess to know that it was she who had intervened at the Bingju's lake, pulling the yellow dragon sword and the 7 little ones into the Buddha's relic. This also implied that her cultivation had recovered significantly. Sensing Li Wei's gaze, Zhenhai Guanwu said, our relationship is quite special. I can also activate the Buddha's relic to a certain extent. Li Wei asked, will anyone notice? The blood mist of the blood handprint demonic armor and the scripture will conceal it. In their condition at that time, they wouldn't have detected anything. Zhenhai Guanwu leapt off the jade boat, her expression turning solemn. She paced back and forth, saying, the sudden shift in the situation has exceeded my expectations. I had planned to remain hidden, slowly accumulating power until I could reclaim my status as the martial Dao Emperor, at which point I could act boldly. But now, there's no safe place left in the world. If Qilin Zhuang truly wins, we'll all be doomed. Li Wei asked, do you believe that even the combined forces of the major powers wouldn't be a match for Qilin Zhuang? Zhenhai Guanwu said, the cultivation Qilin Zhuang has displayed has already left all the transcendence far behind. Zhuang Xian of the Calamity Crossing Temple is actually quite skilled, but he can only barely hold him back. What do you think of the strategist from the School of Diplomacy and Strategy of the Zhuoqiu sect? This question was clearly not directed at Li Wei. The Spirit Tablet Master replied, he's reached this level in the 1,000 years since we left already exceeds my expectations. However, he still falls short of Qilin Zhuang. Master Guan gave Qilin Zhuang an extremely high evaluation, he's already on par with where I was in my prime. His strength surpasses yours, Master Coffin countered. The two immediately began arguing. Ignoring them, Li Wei turned to Zhenhai Guanwu and asked curiously, I've always wondered about the Calamity Crossing Temple's true motives. Rumor has it that they supported you when you defeated the Thundercloud sect and established the Lingxiao Palace. Some even claim the Calamity Crossing Temple is your sect. My sect. They don't deserve that title. Zhenhai Guanwu's mind flooded with childhood memories. After a long pause, she said, think of the Calamity Crossing Temple as a group of investors. They choose the most promising power or individual at the right time, provide them with certain resources, and reap substantial rewards in return. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3. Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 111 255 The Calamity Crossing Temple. 111th of Volume 3. End of Volume 3. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Back then, the Thundercloud sect's arrogance and brutality plunged the world into chaos, much like the situation today. Every member of the sect claimed to be a god. After years of war, when the entire world was exhausted and the factions had been weakened, the situation gradually clarified. That's when the Calamity Crossing Temple approached me. They wouldn't directly intervene. Instead, they promised to provide me with 10 immortality pills annually, along with rare resources for cultivating transcendent beings and life-extending essence medicine. News of this offer spread like wildfire, drawing talented individuals from across the land. Even old men on the brink of death flocked to my banner. Before this, I was already the largest righteous army in this realm. With their resources, my forces grew rapidly, sweeping across the land and shortening the period of turmoil, thus reducing casualties. After the Lingxiao Palace was established, as a return for their support, the resources of the Lingxiao realm were prioritized for them. In turn, they continued to send 10 immortality pills to the Lingxiao Palace every 60 years to solidify its rule. It's like when I slew the flying dragon. The dragon bone, dragon seed, and dragon palace were taken by them. Li Wei could detect the dissatisfaction in Zhenhai Guanwu's tone. They invested a massive amount of resources, and after succeeding, they demanded a return. I find that perfectly reasonable. Investment always carries risk. If you had been defeated, their resources would have been lost entirely. It's fair. Spirit Tablet Master said, the Mist Heavenly Emperor is trying to tell you that the Calamity Crossing Temple isn't a compassionate savior. They merely use the guise of salvation to pursue their own self-interests. A true savior would have stepped forward at the very beginning of the chaos, not waited until the world was already in ruins before seeking out so-called hidden dragons. Li Wei, clear-minded and insightful, chuckled, a partnership built on mutual benefit may be fragile, but I find it far less reliable if the Calamity Crossing Temple were to speak only of ideals, the Tao, and unconditional support. You're right. Relationships based on mutual benefit are often more stable. Zhenhai Guanwu continued, but the Calamity Crossing Temple's biggest problem is that they never put all their eggs in one basket. While supporting me back then, they also split their resources to support the Thundercloud sect, believing they had a chance to quell the chaos. Precisely. Back then, I defeated the Thundercloud sect but couldn't completely eradicate them. I had to compromise with another faction within the Calamity Crossing Temple. The Thundercloud sect's existence, to some extent, served as a check on Lingxiao Palace. Li Wei said, that's a rather underhanded move. But in the power struggles of major powers, such tactics are commonplace. I'm curious, with your cultivation later reaching the level where you could even slay flying dragons, couldn't you still break free from the Calamity Crossing Temple? Zhenhai Guanwu snorted lightly, lifting her snow-white chin. In its peak era, the Lingxiao realm spanned 300 provinces, teeming with experts. Back then, the Calamity Crossing Temple wouldn't have dared to dictate terms to me. The Thundercloud sect's annual tribute far surpassed that of the ancient myriad sects, all to avoid my reckoning. But millennia have passed, and several generations have come and gone. Naturally, I no longer had reason to unleash a massacre. The reason I've explained the true nature of the Calamity Crossing Temple is to make you understand, you can't rely on them. To deal with Qilin Zhuang, you must rely on the people of Lingxiao alone. For you, this could be a tribulation, you must proceed with extreme caution. A tribulation. Li Weiyi's expression turned grave. Zhenhai Guanwu said, you have a full gold meridian veins and have unlocked the secret of the 10th spring. This must not be revealed to the Calamity Crossing Temple. The existence of the Dao ancestor Tai Chi fish is even more dangerous to expose. Master Guan immediately agreed. Absolutely. Even with a foundation as strong as Luansheng Linyu, Zhe Shantong, or Zuoqiu Hongting, it wouldn't be enough to tempt some old geezers whose lifespans are nearing their end to take extreme risks. But a full gold meridian veins and the 10 springs divine aperture. If that were confirmed, it's hard to say what might happen. Master Coffin said, I've met Zhuang Xian. His character seems decent. Master Guan scoffed, the Calamity Crossing Temple isn't run by Zhuang Xian alone. There's a lot more going on beneath the surface. Li Weiyi finally understood what Zhenhai Guanwu and Master Guan were so worried about. He broke out in a cold sweat, should I try to escape while things are chaotic? Zhenhai Guanwu said, right now, there's nowhere safer than Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain. Don't worry too much. You have the Zuoqiu clan and the Zhu Li tribe backing you. If you refuse to go to the Calamity Crossing Temple, how could Zhuang Xian possibly force you? As an immortal master, he wouldn't dare act so shamelessly. Exactly. Staying here is the safest option right now because no one can pull any underhanded tricks, Master Guan added. Li Weiyi asked, will they invite me to cultivate at the Calamity Crossing Temple? Master Guan said, it would be strange if they didn't invite you, given your talent. But you can't go. If you do, you'll be utterly helpless. Now that you're the Zhu Li tribe leader's disciple, they'll protect you with all their might. The Zuoqiu clan needs their support and will protect you too, Spirit Tablet Master added. Li Weiyi was terrified by their words. Very well. I'll use this opportunity to enter seclusion and refine my spiritual qi. I'll strive to achieve complete mastery as soon as possible. Master Guan, how long do you think you'll need? 3 months for the 4th sea, at least 6 months for the 5th sea. By then, you'll be ready to cultivate the 6th sea wind mansion and 5th level qi. 9 months. Li Weiyi was deeply troubled. Refining spiritual qi took far too long. Luansheng Linyu had already broken through to the Dao Seed realm. If his Dao Seed truly was a dragon seed, his cultivation speed in the Dao Seed realm would be lightning fast. Li Weiyi didn't want to still be refining spiritual qi in the 7th sea while others had already broken through to immortal realm. Is there any way to speed up the refinement process? Li Weiyi asked. Master Guan frowned. See. You're impatient again. We agreed to settle down after the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. Yes, there is. You can harness the power of the Fusong Divine Tree. Zhenhai Guanwu gazed at the distant blood mist. As the blood mist dispersed, Tangu Sea and the Fusong Divine Tree appeared on the other side of the spatial barrier. The sea was covered with Zaihe. She said, but you must truly cross that spatial barrier and journey to Tangu Sea, to get closer to the Fusong Divine Tree. Your qi refinement speed should double. Currently, Li Weiyi was only in the first stage of great spiritual master cultivation, the Earth-Fire realm. He could only open a bowl-sized hole in the spatial barrier, not large enough for a person to pass through. To open a larger passage, cross the spatial barrier, and reach Tangu Sea, he would need to focus on cultivating his spiritual power and strive to reach the Heavenly Fire realm, and even the Calamity Fire realm, as quickly as possible. Master Coffin said, that is indeed a path. But, Mist Heavenly Emperor, why are you in such a hurry? Zhenhai Guanwu's gaze was heavy. I have reached the level of an emperor. I know exactly how close Qilin Zhuang is to breaking through. The situation is critical. Once he crosses that threshold, will Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain still be safe? After a long silence, she said, perhaps only one person in the entire Lingxiao realm can deal with Qilin Zhuang. Li Weiyi's eyes widened. Yu Yaozi. Zhenhai Guanwu said, among my 3 disciples, she ranks first in innate talent, temperament, and wisdom. I have always been most confident in her. I'm truly curious about what she has been through, what insurmountable obstacle she faces. I intend to visit Lingxiao City to see her in person. Li Weiyi was shocked. The world now viewed Yu Yaozi as a terrifying monster, more fearsome than even the demon clan. He quickly cautioned, 1,000 years have passed. Your disciple must have changed drastically, her mind likely fractured. It's too dangerous for you to go there so recklessly. Zhenhai Guanwu replied, I'll consider this further. You must cultivate faster. Reach the Dao Seed realm as soon as possible. By then, your disguise technique should be perfected, enough to deceive even the heavens. At that point, you can go anywhere. Li Weiyi asked, if Qilin Zhuang is so powerful, why doesn't the Calamity Crossing Temple directly support him? Investing in Qilin Zhuang might yield easier success, but it could also lead to complete ruin. The risk is no less than investing in the Zuoqiu clan, Master Coffin answered. Li Wei asked, is this related to Flying Phoenix and the ancestor of the Flying Dragon? These are higher-level games. There's no need for you to ponder them. Zhenhai Guanwu, intimately familiar with the Calamity Crossing Temple, said, it's easy to guess. The Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival is essentially a power struggle between two factions within the Calamity Crossing Temple. Some favor Qilin Zhuang, while others support the School of Diplomacy's disciple from the Zhuoqiu clan. Both are top-tier experts with the potential to unify the world. Since neither faction could convince the other, they organized this Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival to assess the next generation of these two major powers. After gaining a general understanding of the Calamity Crossing Temple, Li Wei withdrew from the Blood Mud space to heal his injuries, refine his spiritual qi, and cultivate his spiritual power. He also prepared to use the Divine Cauldron Wood over the next period to perfect his physical cultivation. 7 days later, his injuries were fully healed. Li Wei was quite concerned about the situation outside, especially regarding Hidden Lord and the others. He wondered whether they had managed to secure the Immortality Pill, Dragon Seed, and Dragon Bone. Thus, he decided to temporarily break his seclusion. Brother Zhuoqiu. In a densely built-up area of the third heaven, Li Wei spotted Luansheng Linyu, whose aura belonged to Zhuoqiu Ting. Zhuoqiu Ting fanned himself with a folding fan, his injuries completely healed. His silver hair fluttered in the breeze, and his handsome features were almost unreal. He laughed heartily. Li Wei, you've got incredible patience, staying in closed-door cultivation while the entire city is in turmoil. How are your injuries? Seeing him still able to laugh, Li Wei knew the battle situation must be favorable. I'm completely recovered. Li Wei strode over, intending to punch Zhuoqiu Ting in the chest to express their cherished brotherhood. Ultimately, he spared him, instead throwing an arm around his shoulders. Where did you run off to during the final battle of the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival? You deserted us. Do you know how hard your sister and I fought? Zhuoqiu Ting squirmed uncomfortably, gently deflecting Li Wei's arm with his folding fan, trying to appear casual. He sighed, I was too badly injured and had to withdraw early. My sister speaks highly of you, saying you're worth befriending. Worth befriending? Then why are you pushing my arm away? We're brothers, we've even slept in the same bed. Li Wei pulled him closer, whispering in his ear, to be honest, your sister is stunning, like a celestial maiden descended to earth, rivaling even the feather immortal. If your Zhuoqiu clan were to propose a marriage alliance with me, I might just agree. How about you put in a good word for me? Blank. End of chapter. End of Volume 3. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.